Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we will talk about asynchronous down counters. While talking about asynchronous down counter, I'll give you a quick review of what is counter and its various types. Counter is a sequential circuit used to count number of events. When we say counters are broadly classified into two types: synchronous counter and asynchronous counter. Synchronous counter is that counter which has common clock, while asynchronous counter is that counter which does not have common clock. And another thing to keep in mind is output of one flip-flop act as clock to other. Another thing to keep in mind for asynchronous counter is that asynchronous counter are known as ripple counter. This is an important thing to be kept in mind. Further, for the things to be kept in mind about asynchronous counter is whenever asynchronous counter is involved, clock needs to be decided. Clock should be pre-decided. For clock, the concept needs to be kept in mind. I have told in my previous video too, but still I'll repeat it one more time. Clock is of two types: positive edge triggered and negative edge triggered. Positive edge triggered and negative edge triggered, and similarly flip-flops output are two, Q and Q bar. Whenever positive combines with positive, it makes down counter. Whenever positive combines with negative, it makes up counter. So if you are being given positive clock, then for down counter you will use Q, else for up counter you will use Q bar. This thing should be kept in mind. Second thing, when it is negative clock pulse, negative with positive make up counter, negative with negative make down counter. Do to keep in mind, or for a ready reckoner, if it is similar type, it is down counting, while if it is different type, it is up counting. Now, the type of counter we are going to talk about in today's class is down counter. When I say down counter means the counter which works in decreasing order. When I say decreasing order, n-1 to 0. If it is 2-bit asynchronous down counter, number of states will be 2 raised to power 2, 4. Counting will be n-1, 4 minus 1, 3, 2, 1, 0. If it is 3-bit down counter, number of states are 8 and counting sequence will be from 7, 6 to 0. Number of states is also known as mod. Now we'll design mod 4 or 2-bit asynchronous down counter. Number of flip-flops required are 2. Type of counter is asynchronous. I am using T flip-flop. T flip-flop works when T is equal to 1. It will toggle. So we will be using this. Now for down counter, as we have talked about in our table, we will be using positive clock. So I am making a positive clock pulse. Type of counter is asynchronous. Asynchronous means output of one is input or clock to the other. There will be 2 bits as output, QA, QB. QB is MSB and QA is LSB. Now let's start with the timing diagram, as timing diagram is the most important thing in asynchronous counter. Timing diagram, always prefer drawing 7 to 8 clock pulses, bare minimum 7 to 8 clock pulses, so that you can easily see the output of your circuit. Now type of clock is rise edge. So I am highlighting it on the up side and putting a dotted line at the up side. Now outputs of the circuit are 2 and they are named as QA, which is your LSB, and QB. First, QA will change its state, and it will change the state at every rising edge. It will change or toggle its state at every rising edge. That is the characteristic of T flip-flop. Now, QA acts as clock pulse to QB. Again, clock pulse is rising edge. So we will mark the rising edge, and correspondingly QB will change state at every rising edge. It toggles its state from the previous one. And if we go by the output, it is 1 1 1 0 0 1 0 0. Again the sequence starts repeating. Somewhere 1 1 is 3 2 1 0, and it repeats the sequence. That is all about asynchronous down counter. Today we did asynchronous 2-bit down counter. 2-bit asynchronous down counter is also known. Now there is one more thing to add to. Sometimes the question comes with that make the circuit using JK flip-flop. Now, whether it is JK or T, if we are talking about asynchronous counter, do keep in mind the circuit will almost be same. I'll quickly draw JK flip-flop's asynchronous counter circuit for you. It is JA, KA, definitely QA, QA bar, and let us say we are making it for 2 bits, JB, KB, QB and QB bar. Now we are making it as up counter. Clock will be positive. Output of 1 acts as clock to the circuit as asynchronous. Asynchronous circuit or asynchronous counters are those which do not have same clock throughout. Output of 1 acts as clock to the other one. Now to keep in mind, toggling is required. And if you remember JK flip-flop toggles at J is 1, K is 1. So now we'll be using J is equal to K is equal to 1. There are 2 outputs to the circuit, QB, QA. QB is MSB. QA is LSB, and we have drawn the circuit diagram of 2-bit asynchronous up counter using JK flip-flop. So if you get the question of similar pattern using JK